Check, check. Oh, there we go. Boom. Well. Greetings, greetings. I think it's working. Give me a bunch of signs in the chat here if we have it. I'm gonna wait a few moments. Greetings, greetings. If you can hear the sound of my voice, congratulations. You've arrived at a very opportunistic point on your current personal timeline. As many of you guys know, we just began the dragon, which is a really important time for those of us increasing fire, increasing strength, increasing empowerment, increasing clarity, increasing what many of us understand as our co-creative abilities to alter the path, the outcomes, and what many of us acknowledge as literal reality. We are entering a very, very opportunistic stage for those of us in the current kind of multi-dimensional soul group that gathers on this channel and many others. For those of you guys that are seeking upgrades, those of you guys that are seeking what is essentially an entirely new level of understanding of spirit and multi-dimensional energy, we are in, like I just said, an incredibly opportunistic moment. So we're going to be talking about all of that here today. Happy Valentine's Day to all those of you out there who observe one of the many corporate created kind of pseudo-American holidays. But regardless, a lot of people pay a lot of attention to it. So happy Valentine's Day to all of you crazy lovers out there, wherever you are. And I also want to say officially welcome back to the what we used to call the School of Multidimensional Intuition, but was essentially Remember Your Mission. And I just use School of Multidimensional Intuition because we are formally entering the first stage of what I like to call real, true, intuitive transformation and psychic activation on a completely unprecedented level. So for those of you guys that have been following us for the past few years or months, or maybe you're one of the people that's just tuning into this today, one of the primary aspects of what I do, and also in Nora over the past, I would say since 2019, when we started a path of regular educational projects and trying to help people understand the way energy healing works, how to awaken psychic abilities, how to keep the energy body clear. It's been sort of like a chapter of every year since 2019. And I notice it always comes around spring. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'll get this nudge or this feeling or this sort of like this sort of signal within the body. And it's like, oh God, it's time. Okay. The heart starts beating and it's like, oh boy, here we go. And yes, we are being called back into service. And so for those of you guys that have all been following, and I know there's a few people in the chat that have taken part in a number of our classes and kind of projects, and there's even some people here from the first 3 programs we've done. Like I said, starting, I think 2021 was the first year in which we began a dedicated training group. It might have been 2020. Those of you who know me, you'll know my dates are always haphazard. My concept of time is very poor, but on or around, in between 2020 and 2021, I received the initial kind of activation, this initial knowing, and it was a very fearful thing. It was like the process of jumping off a cliff into the great unknown, a previously unseen version of myself that I felt at the time was entirely not ready, entirely unprepared to begin a path of formal instruction the way that I had been doing. However, many aspects of self, many spiritual beings, many guides, many guardians from what we might call the astral plane, or maybe just other versions of me begin to step forward and offer a system, offer a method, what is essentially the exact method and the exact practices, the exact techniques that I begin to use upon myself and with others throughout a series of thousands and thousands of sessions. And so when that wave started for me, it was one of the greatest leaps of faith that I have ever taken in this life. And fast forward a few years later, I've now completed 3 solid training groups of multiple individuals who have come to us for a process of awakening what some call abilities, which is always kind of a cringe word for the skeptics in our environment, but what are essentially aspects of yourself, traits that are buried within every human body, natural frequencies that are available to all who truly devote themselves to understanding and clearing. And this key word today, for what we're going to be doing over the next 90 days, is clearing. And so we'll just go ahead and jump in. Start out by saying hello, everyone. We just kind of ran in the door and started ranting, but Greetings, everyone. Today's for you asking questions. We're going to be going through a very important training opportunity that we have. In my opinion, I think it is one of the most absolutely unique projects that I have seen among our multidimensional soul group thus far. And what it essentially is kind of a conglomerate, a combination, a grouping together of the many things that we've observed that have worked over the past 3 years, and also a dramatic reduction of the things that have not worked. And so some of you guys out there that have been in some of our classes have noticed that when you truly create a relationship with energy, when you truly take steps to clear the self, to open up pathways, to keep the chakras clear and flowing, there's a certain kind of knowing. There is an ability, there's a source of energy that is granted to a person that truly walks that path. And we've seen that develop with many, many people that we've worked with over the past few years. And so what I did earlier this year was start taking a look at just kind of the process that we had been through, kind of the journey that we had gone through these groups of people. And I got to be real, there were many things that didn't work. There were many moments that I looked back on and I understood, well, that was completely unnecessary. I don't know why we did that. And then likewise, there were many other moments where I sat there going, wow, I think we're ready for this. And you know what? Finally, screw it. We're going to bring in that. We're going to bring in this. And so after a lot of, I'll just be real, after a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of readings, a lot of guidance, a lot of emotional pain, essentially almost a month-long deep cleansing process that I have personally been through. It started with a very dedicated fast and a master cleanse a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of spread into a very, very dedicated anti-parasitic process, and also just a complete overhaul, I think, of just gut energy, chi energy in the body. And it's almost as if I was being prepared for this next stage without even knowing it. Come, February 11th, or right as the dragon turned over, it was like a bolt of lightning that hit me. I knew that it was time. And so here we are. And so every now and then, I think for those of us that are practitioners, those of us that do this work on a professional level, we will have a desire to bring something out to the public. We will have a desire for an offering, a piece of ourselves that we believe is valuable to the overall kind of multidimensional soul group. And what I've noticed is over the years of doing these classes, there have been many that have been well received. And likewise, there have been many that have gone almost entirely unnoticed. And one of the things I picked up about those things, whether they worked or they didn't, was that there was a very specific timing to the launching of certain projects, certain movements, certain upgrades and frequencies that grow and spread through soul groups. And so this time we made the decision to respond immediately as soon as the time came. And I think it's very important, especially for those of you that have been following our channel, and especially for those of you that have been noticing how much you've changed over the past few years. And I mean this very sincerely, because a lot of you guys have heard me say this thing before. I'm going to say it again right now. For those of you guys that have maybe been around this community for a few years, maybe you got here yesterday, maybe you've noticed over the past, stretch of time how your interests have changed, your ideas have changed, your relationships have changed. Your understanding of yourself has changed. A lot of you guys have noticed how your interests have shifted over the past few years. And if you're watching this channel in now moment, it's quite likely that at some point in the last decade, or maybe sooner, maybe earlier, you started to become attracted to more esoteric subjects, more mystical things, more maybe spiritual frequencies that were available, things like disclosure, things like energy work, things like tarot, divination, many, many systems, many, many different modalities. You've noticed how you've become attracted to those, and maybe you've seen other people. Maybe you turn on YouTube, you might end up watching people like me, or, even some of the, performers that will show up and sort of emulate a certain process of spiritual growth or expansion. Whatever one you've seen, you've noticed how maybe at times you felt in your own way, well, I don't know why, and I don't know how, but I kind of feel like I can do that. Of course, I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to start, but there's this part of me that feels drawn to it over and over again. Some source of energy, some inner knowing, some light, some strand of knowledge or a belief system or a mysterious power even that you will see reflected in the eyes and the words of those that you turn to, those that you look at, those that you follow. Whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, it doesn't matter where it is. You've noticed how you've been drawn to the great history. I call, this golden age, what some call a Renaissance period of kind of spiritual advancement and internal growth. This is truly the lifetime in which many of us are going to understand the real meaning of the word multidimensional as we begin to connect with other versions of ourselves, a host of many beings, guardians, both good and evil, right and wrong. We are living in a time on earth in which that is all available. It's all living. It's all here embodied, physical form, in ways that will frighten some. And honestly, for others, it'll be one of the most magical and, beautiful, blissful things you've ever encountered. For those of you guys that have been, slowly immersing yourself day after day, month after month, year after year, possibly within the spiritual community, I'm speaking to those of you who realize that there is a purpose for you within this. You know that you have an ability. You've started to get weird feelings and strange images and just odd sensations when you connect with people. Maybe you're even watching TV in an entirely different way, looking into the eyes of those who give you the news, those who portray controllers in our realm, and noticing things, noticing differences, different images, different knowings, different frequencies. And for some, you might sit there and go, well, I'm probably just making that up. There's no way that I had a dream in which I was, in a classroom or a lecture or visiting this other world or astral projecting into, a ship or whatever it may be. There's no way those things are real. This is just, my imagination, a very overactive imagination. And one of the things I've learned over the past few years is that imagination, that internal space where we perceive everything is fake and we're living in a dream world, the reality is that the most fertile ground for creation and alteration of your reality that you will ever have. It is essentially a spiritual control room and a testing laboratory where you can work, where you can grow, where you can study, where you can activate your energy. And I think that if there's one thing that I've picked up over the last 7 going 8 years, it is that I have been able to make that a lifestyle. It was something that came to me, as many of you guys know, when we began our strange awakening journey, I think around 2015. My entire life was ripped open. My crown chakra, my whole auric field just was completely torn open. And I was very much at the mercy of a host of forces, different beings, energies, environmental frequencies. It tore me to pieces for nearly 2 years. In that 2-year period, from 2015 to 2017, I began to find a series of techniques, a series of people, series of remembrances, memories, layers of information, guidances, and very, very particular and difficult trials and tribulations that I had to overcome to finally understand that for me, one of the final forms, truly not the final form, but one of the most long-standing and appropriate was the version of me that needed to come out. And that was the version of me that was ready to fully transform myself into the path of the professional psychic, what some may call a mystic, what others call a reader, some call a seer, others call a healer. It was the greatest transition of my entire life. And in the years since, like I said, if there was one thing I ever did right, it was successfully transition my professional and personal identity into one of a path of full-time service for humanity, for those that walk this earth, both physical and non-physical. So it is honestly, with great honor. I'm truly excited about this. This is going to be one of the most unique things that we have done yet. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about it. I'd like you guys to start putting any questions that you have in the chat for those of you guys that are interested. And this is our plan. First quarter of 2024. And for those of you guys that are interested, I'm going to be showing this on the screen today. You guys can head over to Remember Your Mission right now, and you can check out the full description. You don't have to read through it with me, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at it because this project that we're in here is launching April 22nd, 2024. And so it's called the 90-Day Transformation and Intuitive Activation Process. Some of you guys might have read a little bit about this on Facebook. Some of you guys, well, a couple of you guys have been messaging me and we talked about it in the background. But this is the official introduction. And so beginning April 22nd, 2024, we are going to be going through a very, very particular process, one that is very different, very intense. And I'm going to be real. This is not for everyone. I say that both with respect and love of the highest order. This process is not for everyone, but if you are one of those people who have come to the stage in which you are absolutely ready to devote yourself to some path of service, if you feel and you know you've come far enough to understand there's something different about me, and you know what, I might not know what it is. I might not know how. I might not know where to start. I might feel years of baggage and emotional wounds that stand in the way of me actually being able to activate my power or my abilities, if you want to use that word. And yet, how? Where do we begin? What do we do? What path do we take? Who do we turn to? How do we make it work? Some of you guys have heard me talking about this earlier, but when I started this path, I want to be completely honest with you. There were very few people that I could ever turn to. There were very few people that I knew in my world that would give me true guidance without some kind of other motive or some secret desire to see themselves as above me, as greater. People were not willing to share. People held their secrets back and honestly became gatekeepers for this force of energy I believe is freely available to all who truly devote themselves to this path. And so, let me get down to the details before I keep ranting. This is the path, you guys. This is the plan. This is the mission. 6 people, 90 days. You will be going through one of the most unique, intensive processes of psychic and energetic transformation you will go through in this life. Our mission is to assist those in reaching a new level of personal transformation and intuitive awareness. We will work with energy centers. We will work with meridians. We will work with organ resonance, pathways within the body, your fascia. Very, very important for those of you guys that are seeking to truly be able to sense and feel physical energy. A lot of you have received energy clearings and other work in this world, and you've wondered, how come everyone seems to feel it so much? And I'm just sitting there wondering, is that what it's like? Is this what this is? One of the untapped, absolute reservoirs of psychic sensitivity is your lymphatic system. But I'll be honest, I don't hear too many people talking about that. In fact, I'm going to be critically honest. I hear no one in our current multidimensional soul group talking about that process. And so what we're going to be doing is taking you guys into the places, into the organs, into the energy centers, into the layers of the body that I've been visiting on a daily basis since I started doing this work in 2017 with thousands of people all over the world. And I say that for thousands of people all over the world, for better or worse. Why do I say that? Because, let's be real. You can do something thousands of times, but it doesn't mean you did it right. And it doesn't mean you did it well. You will look at the fruits of your labor and the results and the reports and the ways in which you see people go and change in the days after the work that you do. That will show you what was appropriate. That will show you what works. And let's be real, it'll also show you what doesn't work. But anyway, this is the plan. This is what you're going to be signing up for those of you guys that are ready for this path. And this is going to be intense. We have 3 months. We have 90 days beginning April 22nd, 2024. It's going to run through July 22nd, give or take, depending, as our schedules close and people wrap up. But here's what you're getting yourself into. Number 1, we will be meeting, me and you, every month, approximately 1.5 to 2 hours at a time for a very deep energy clearing process. Some of you guys have gone through this with me in other private sessions. You will know what it is, and it has a very, very particular effect on the body with repeated applications. It's very much like blasting the body with a very particular type of energy over and over and over again. And as we continue to do that, we notice that certain things change, certain tendencies change, certain beliefs change, certain wounds begin to fade within the body. And over time, new aspects of self arise. And over the next 90 days, we're going to be doing 3 private sessions, myself. And then we're also going to be meeting weekly. This is where you really need to check if you're willing and able and ready to make this commitment, because in order for you to receive the full value of this process that we are about to embark on, you need to be deeply committed and able, if not able to show up live, you need to be able to take part in the recordings. One of the best things about what we do is everything is recorded, so you will receive a video recording of each and every interaction we have in this program. And trust me, I have got thousands of them. And so It's been, I think that's one of the greatest things you can do as a professional reader, as a psychic, as a mystic, as a healer. I think it's very important to record your progress and the work that you do. As long as you know your clients are interested and willing to receive that recording, it gives you a very unique view into how you grow and how you change and the energies that flow in those private moments. And of course, of analyzing them over the past few years, which honestly I have been doing a little bit of lately. And sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's amazing. What we've learned that really works for people when we engage in a group setting is this: weekly Qigong, regular physical body attunement, a process in which we will be meeting once every week for a Qigong routine, and then a physical energy body clearance. This is where you're moving. This is one where you're sweating. You're going to be getting hot. You're going to be releasing energy. Some of us are going to be in tears. Deep emotion may flow from the body. And so we're going to be doing that every week, every week for 12 weeks at the same time. You also receive one full natal astrology chart reading from Honora. For those of you guys that have received readings from Honora before, you will know the absolute uniqueness through which she operates. Honestly, it's a lot more than an astral chart reading. She has a very, very particular, neat, and powerful manner of working. And so you're going to receive a full reading with Honora, which is really good for charting your path ahead. This was something that was actually valuable to us in the first and second groups. We didn't really engage with it as much in group 3, but in the first and second groups, this was incredibly powerful because it gave people a second opinion, a second option, a second look, a second version of just what she picks up in your energy. And in my opinion, I think that's an invaluable thing to have in a program such as this, where really the progress is actually up to you. It is about how much you're willing to put into this, if you're willing to show up. And so we're going to be doing this weekly Qigong routine. You're going to receive a full reading with Honora. And then we're also going to be doing 12 weekly group Q&As and silent meditations. This is, in my opinion, truly where the magic takes place within these processes. And I'm going to say this right now, and I pray that everybody here can receive this. If you're one of those people out there that has a desire to truly awaken your intuitive abilities and maybe even step into the path of a full-time mystic, full-time psychic, or even just start doing it on a much greater level, you must learn to sit in complete silence. You will learn very quickly when you truly step into this world that there are specific times, specific places, specific frequencies, very particular moments in which spirit speaks the loudest. And for those of us that want to truly begin to understand what it is like to discern and understand and communicate with what we understand as guides, our guardians, the host of many beings that stand alongside us in this human journey, you must learn to sit in silence. One of the big aspects of what we're going to be doing over this 90-day period is not only a weekly energy clearing, but also a weekly silent meditation. Time for you to ask questions, for you to talk about what's going on with you. And for those of you guys that have sat with me on these shows, you will know my time is your time. So we go as far and as deep and answer as many questions as you feel you have. And so for some of us, that means you're going to be meeting with us twice a week. For others, it will be once a week. We ask that you make one weekly meeting. Some of you guys that are truly, truly dedicated, some of you guys that are ready, some of you guys that are ready and willing to put your time aside and really devote yourself to a process of true transformation, you'll know that your real value comes in showing up every single time. And so I say, for those of you guys that are watching right now that really want to take part in this, this is going to be one of the deciding factors. Are you able and willing to truly devote yourself to this path for only 90 days? And I'm going to be real. After this, you're going to continue. You will be overjoyed to continue. It will be a drive within you. You will have seen the signs. You will have seen a new direction. And some of you guys, you're going to be on an entirely new trajectory, one that maybe you've been on a plateau trying to reach. Maybe you've been trying to push past this series of wounds within the body. Maybe it's not even about developing certain skills or trying to understand, how you can lay the ground for those to grow. Maybe it's about just simply clearing away the buildup within the self and finding a new version of you. I guess really a part of it, that is essentially what we're doing. We're doing it very hard, very fast, in a very particular way that, I'm going to be real, only the most devoted need apply for this. And so, along with multiple group meetings, multiple sessions, a full natal chart, a full natal astrology chart reading from Nora, you're also going to receive what is essentially our main catalog of pre-recorded courses. These are the courses that we taught in 2023, just last year. This was our series of classes that we went through. And we, while we will do live classes again this year, the focus of this 9-day process is not necessarily entirely on education. We're going to give you all the modules, all the slides, all the recordings. We're going to be discussing them weekly. I'm going to be emailing you certain ones, particular ones as well, to go back over, to look at ones that I find the most useful. And for those that are willing to spend time on your own, to immerse yourself in what is essentially, I believe, over 60 hours of pre-recorded instruction, complete with slides, recordings. Every single session is also an energy clearing. For those of you guys that are ready to immerse yourself in the off hours or even in the months to come, because I don't expect everyone to get through every single class that we have in 90 days. But what we can give you is a starting point, a foundation. We can give you information, we can give you instruction, and we can give you techniques to take with you in the future. And I say this not because everyone is here to become this professionally. I want to say that once again. Some of us do have that path, and I believe that for others, they're going to have their own very particular set of goals that may be entirely outside of this. But if you're staying at the stage of your life in which you're wondering, how do I get to that stage over there? I've done all I can. I've worked with everybody that I thought I could. I've taken every step. I built all the columns of light. I threw all the, the 1,000 orbs of energy and connected with all the archangels. I even called in the Galactic Council, and nothing really seems to be happening. Well, that's because there are still vast layers of built up energy within the body. Some of us have been holding that our entire life. So what we're going to be doing is systematically working through that in a very, very unique and individual way for each person. And so, because it is unique, because it is such a particular process, I'll say this again, there are only room for 6 applicants. Why only 6? I think that is because we need to be able to give people enough time, enough energy, enough input, and also enough space and silence for us to connect on deeper, more intimate ways with the energy inside us. And in kind of looking at what works and what doesn't over the past years of doing these focused group processes, what I've found is that, in my opinion, truly less is more. And for those of you guys, that are looking at this, that will already see the price we're going to talk about in a moment, you're going to understand very, very quickly that this is not a money-making venture for me. This is not a project where we're signing you up for years of vague instruction and zero results and all kinds of, half-assed connections with fake hierarchies of spiritual beings. No, this is you. This is your energy. This is your chi. This is your multi-dimensional self. And so we engage on an entirely different level in the sessions we do. And once again, for those of you that are called to us, this is your opportunity. And so let's go a little bit further here, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, Matthew, I love it. That's beautiful, right? I know this is always how it is. Everyone's like, this is so cool. I really want to take part in this. But how much is it? And so for some of you guys, you can go to our website right now and check it out. But I will state it here. The total cost for this process over 90 days, all these sessions, all these classes, multiple meetings and energy cleans, everything recorded that you will take with you forevermore after this journey. The entire cost for this project is $1,600 per person. For those that can pay in full by March 21st, you will receive a free private session in the days prior to our official program start. That means that you and I are going to do a private session before April 22nd to kind of set the stage, to have some time where we can kind of lay some groundwork and go through and kind of like an initial deep cleaning process of the inner workings of the body to make you even more ready. We're kind of offering that as a bonus for people that want to jump in. I'll be real, we already have, I think we've got 2 people as of this morning. And so it looks like we've got about 4 spots left now. And so for those of you guys that are interested, I also want to let you know, you can also make payments. I'm going to be real. I'm not one of those people, you guys, for those that know me, you will know I am not one of those people that came into this work motivated by money. I am real, because you can go find a short list of all the really cool healers and multidimensional practitioners in our little soul group. And you can go to their websites right now, look at their training programs, look at their mentorship programs. I'm absolutely serious. I encourage you to do this. And what you're going to find is that you're going to find less than what is presented here for probably more than twice the cost. They're going to say, I'm going to remove you from the matrix for only $3,400 over 6 months. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, really? Well, the good news is we're not removing you from the matrix. We're teaching you how to empower yourself to remain clear, to begin to use the matrix that we are forced to exist within as physical human beings to your true advantage, to embody that higher version of yourself and to step forward in power and assurance, knowing that you are a sovereign being in full command of your energy. Very, very different. Very, very different. And so for those who desire to make payments, yes, you can do that. We offer 3 different payment arrangements. You can do 2 payments of $800. You can do 4 payments of $400 over 4 months, or you can do 8 payments of $200 per month over an 8-month period. I do want to let you guys know, I say this publicly, we don't offer refunds. That's not a thing that we do. And I'm going to be real. I think that there has ever only been one person that has ever asked me for a refund. And that wasn't because they didn't like it. It was just because they had a new job and they could not continue. And so I'm going to be honest with you. This is a thing that's going to be very intense for some. And while you can quit at any time, we really call forth those who are ready for this experience. And so in order to kind of ensure that everyone's ready for this, because I really like to make sure that people's needs are met. I know that in doing over 4,000 sessions since 2017, there has never been one time ever in my professional existence as a practitioner of spirit that anyone has ever said this wasn't worth it. This guy ripped me off. This guy misled me. This guy took me into a place where I did not want to go. And because we have been able to maintain that track record for so long, I've chosen to do, once again, a little bit of a screening process going into this. And so for those of you guys that are interested, this is how you do this. You head over to rememberyourmission.com. I'm going to do this with you right now so you can see the exact process, okay? For those of you guys that are interested, it's a little bit of a puzzle. This is a little bit of a puzzle. I made this a little bit, well, I'll be real. Wix does not have a good system for setting up courses and kind of, displaying them on your website. I'll be real about that. So as a result, there's a little bit of wrangling that you have to do with our website. So I'll show you. You can head over to rememberyourmission.com. And what you're going to do is click on Book Online Private Sessions. And you can find it right up here at the top. So for those of you that want to book a screening appointment, what you're going to do is you're going to head over here to this. You be sure to read the description. And then what you're going to do is you're going to choose your own time for our interview. Lots of spots available on the calendar right now. I have officially kind of cleared it for the next couple of weeks because we have other things we're going to be involved in. But we do have spots available. And so if you do want to join this, if you want to set up a quick screening, and I'll be real, screenings are 15 minutes. It's a very quick meeting. We're going to talk about what are your needs? Where do you feel drawn to? What are your unique challenges? Are you truly ready for this? I might even pull a card for you and we'll see if you are. But basically all you got to do is head over here, rememberyourmission.com, to time, request to book, and just fill out your information. It'll look different on my screen because it's our website. But anyway, you're gonna fill out your information on here, and that will be your screening appointment. And so we're gonna meet for approximately 15 minutes over the next couple weeks. This will be filled probably within 2 weeks. So if you're one of the people that are watching this video after the fact, it's a good idea to act now, to get going right now. And so that said, I am truly honored for those of you guys that are going to be joining us. And I guess I'll drop, to me, one of the funnest parts. After this 90-day journey, me, you, and Nora, 6 people from all over the world, we're going to show up right here on YouTube, and we're going to do a live show talking about our experience, talking about who you are, what you've learned, what you're bringing to this multi-dimensional soul group. For those of you guys that have been looking for a path to activate yourself and to really step into what is essentially a new trajectory, we're going to be showing up at the end of that process to say, hey, This is how it went. And so, yeah, I'm excited. It's been so far the most appropriate thing that's been presented to us over the past, I guess, year or so. And so, that said, I'm going to open it up for questions. And I thank everybody. Thanks for hanging out here. Thank you for sharing this video. Anyway, thank you. What's up, Lulu Dallas? How's it going? Thank you. I agree. What's up, Queen Victor? Good to see you. Thank you. Good. I look forward to doing our interview. And thank you, Lulu Dallas. Having taken 2 Matthews courses and personally experienced the unique and transformative value brought forth, I encourage interested folks to apply. You know what? Thanks a lot. Thank you, Lulu Dallas. You get a free multi-pass. Totally. Sorry, but they're selling the happy pill, not the red pill. Thanks, Dennis. It's good to see you. Or should I say, ha, Dennis. Anyway, I'm going to look for some questions here, you guys. If you have already asked a question about this project or this process, you can copy and paste it again in the bottom. No hard feelings. Joanna LeBlanc, what's going on? The total cost for this journey is $1,600. You can pay 2 payments of $800, 4 payments of $400, or 8 payments of $200. And we'll set up that whole payment system. And I can talk to you more about it for those of you guys that want to do a screening interview. Totally. Thank you, White Swan. That's actually a pretty good breakdown. Yeah, we're starting on April 22nd. We're going to be doing live Zoom meetings. It says 3.5 hours. I think it'll be a little bit less. Most people don't. Some of them do. People want to stay that long. We will learn the appropriate time duration as a group. For some people, it goes on. For others, we do better in short installments. But yeah, we're starting April 22nd. And it's going to continue probably through the close of July. What's up, Heidi Pop? Is it a live 1 day a week? It's actually 2, but for those that want to be a part of this, for those that are really serious, I'm going to say the bare minimum is that you can show up once. If you can show up 1 time a week, it's probably going to be mornings, which I know is not always good for people. Our Q&A will probably be in the evening. The reason why we do Qigong in the morning is because it's incredibly restorative. It does wonders for your body, mind, spirit complex. It is truly the deciding factor between those who do this on an amateur level and who just simply dabble in things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's a very, very healthy thing to do. But there are deciding factors that will really help tip the scales in your favor when it comes to being able to perceive and feel and use multidimensional energy. And that is that you must be willing to engage in a regular process of physical body movement. In fact, I think it's one of the main pieces that is missing from the majority of, the other kind of, healers and readers and people within our current soul group, is that everyone wants to connect with the non-physical energy, but very few people want to devote themselves to a path of betterment of the physical container that we are in right now. And we find is that when we, truly better and heal and strengthen the physical body, the connections with spirit grow exponentially. And I like to say that being able to adopt and really, really absorb and create a daily practice of Qigong or even yoga will be the deciding factor in terms of whether you can keep this going or whether it's just a really fun thing that you do for 3 months in 2024. It can be a lifestyle or it can be a fun period that you spent with 6 friends over 3 months. It is truly your choice. One thing I can tell you is that you're going to be challenged. Especially in physical Qigong work that we do, because there's a very particular type of body clearing that I do that we've actually never done. We've never shown it. We've shown parts of it on Patreon. And we did a big chunk of it a few years back when we opened some Qi gates, but it's a very particular process that for some of us, when you have a lot of built up emotion in the body, which, let me be real, our emotional wounds are one of the greatest obstacles to using advanced intuitive ability. And I have proven this to myself time after time. Most of your greatest abilities, your epiphanies, your deepest knowings from spirit are literally right on the other side of the deepest emotional wounds that you still carry in the body. And so the more determined we are with addressing those in certain moments, especially when you're in a setting like we're going to be in, there is just a shocking level of movement that takes place. And so for some of us, it's going to be emotionally intense. Emotionally intense. Claudia says, please, which time will the group sessions take place? Claudia, we're still deciding. I can tell you this much. Like I just said, the Qigong group we're going to do every week is going to be morning time here in the US. So I think for you, it might be afternoon or evening, or I shouldn't even say that because I don't know the time difference between here and Europe, but it's morning time for us in the US. If you're on the East Coast or if you're on the West Coast, it'll probably be really early. So for those of you guys that are trying to adopt a pattern of kind of getting up early, connecting with spirit and clearing your body, honestly, that alone is invaluable to begin a practice where you're doing it with a group of people every week. We meet up this time, we do this process, and we don't have to linger. You can do the Qigong and bounce. The idea is that you agree to participate in this ongoing repetitive process of, conditioning your physical body and also essentially blasting your non-physical body with chi energy over and over and over again. And, for those that really take to this type of work, that's where the magic happens. Those moments of silence, those moments of introspection, those moments that you simply allow whatever it is that needs to take place. And so anyway, I'm grossly over answering your question, Claudia. We're going to be determining the time for the weekly silent meditation and Q&A session amongst the group members. And so who knows? It might be Wednesday, might be Thursday. I don't know. It might be Saturday night. We're going to decide as a group. I've just noticed that works better than me just saying it's this time, this day. I can tell you what, though, Qigong is going to be in the morning. Absolutely. So potentially 2 lives a week. But I really just ask you to show up for one. And so what's up, LG19? Says, during the 90-day class, do we need to be on any kind of purity run, like no drinking alcohol, eating junk food, alcohol, sex, and cigarettes? Not that I do all those in the first place. I want to be real. I personally right now am at a stage of complete sobriety, meaning that I am not currently using any mind-altering substances. I'm not smoking weed right now. I'm not, there's really nothing else that I am taking other than the food that I eat. I don't necessarily think that that's always the right path for everyone. I don't think that that is always an absolute necessity. I think if you're willing to go to that length, if you are willing to create changes in longstanding behaviors and kind of, some call vices, I think that you're going to find that this will be incredible for allowing you to move past those, for allowing you to let those go in an entirely different way. But I want to be real. I do not believe that is a requirement. I have been both 100% sober every day of my life, and I've been both 100% not sober at times doing the work that I do. What I find is that true clarity comes from a clean container. And I think the more we can stay in a high vibratory state and ultimately free from influence of certain substances that essentially open portals in the body. I'm going to be real. It's not always a negative portal. I want to be totally honest. It's not always a negative portal, but it can be. It can be. And so I would say that is essentially up to you, LG19. Essentially up to you. And so I'm just kind of standing up here looking for other questions, and then I'm going to roll down to the bottom. Thanks everybody for your interest. Seriously, I love you guys. And so, oh, here we go. What's up, Lois? How's it going? Question. I'm booking the interview and I'm being requested to pay in full. Actually, you should not. There's already a few people that have signed up and there is no requirement to pay in full. And so I don't see how, maybe unless the website's glitched out. Let's find out. I can look at it in a moment and we should be able to fix that if it isn't. But I know you don't actually have to sign up for anything or pay anything initially. In fact, as far as I can tell, you can't. It won't allow you to do that unless you request booking. But anyway, so yeah, you're not going to be charged. Don't worry. Don't worry. But yeah, go ahead and follow that. And if let's say if you can't, Lois, send me an email. Just scroll down to the bottom of the site and just send me an email saying, hey, Matt, I tried to sign up for the screening thing. For some reason, it makes me pay. But I'm pretty sure it won't. Okay. Anyway, I see your comment there. It's all good. Cool. Like I said, there's a couple other people that already kind of set up their interviews that way. So yeah, just send me an email. I'll check it out after this. No worries. You don't have to pay for a screening. And so let's see if there's any other questions. Boom. Thanks, LG19. I look forward to meeting with you. Let me know if you had to pay for that. Let me know if you had to pay for that. I'm pretty sure you didn't. I'm sure, but you never know. The website's weird. It glitches out. It's not always clear. I'm going to be real. Wix is not the most kind of it might not be the most polished website service, but it's been pretty stable for us. Certainly not without its faults, but anyway, please let us know if there are any other questions coming up here, you guys. And I want to thank everybody that has hung out with us here today. I'm really looking forward to everybody that's going to be a part of this. And so with that, before we go, or while we're waiting for more questions, we are going to do a very quick transmission, just a few moments of shared energy. And for those of you guys here, essentially a little bit of a crown chakra opening. And why would we be doing a crown chakra opening here before we go? I think it's one of the most useful things that you can do as you're going through times in your life in which you are seeking guidance, in which you are seeking information, in which you are seeking contact with, whether it be the higher self or the myriad of guides and guardians that surround you. I think that the crown chakra is also one of the most assaulted and negatively affected energy centers on the body by the waves of, technology and kind of, wavelengths, all kinds of strange jagged frequencies that are broadcasted out, whether it be pharmaceutically or just even within the environment, technologically speaking. The crown chakra is a place that when we want to connect with spirit and when we are in true union with spirit, you will notice in peering the energy body that it is an energy center that dilates, just like your eyes dilate, and it can dilate very, very greatly. For some people, it can dilate to such an extent that we can begin to experience manic episodes and schizoaffective disorders. And, at times we can even kind of drift out of our body. And it's not always a good thing. Let's be real. For some people, that could cause a lot of problems. But what it is a testament to the power of this kind of primal gateway at the top of your energy field. And so we're going to do a little bit of a crown chakra attunement before we go here. Anyway, let us begin. Hey, you made it. Good job, Lois. I had a feeling. It probably looked like it wanted you to pay, right? It was probably like almost, but then you click it and then it didn't actually take the money. Don't worry. Absolutely. What's up, Lilu? She says, if you can remain cleaner as you do this work, you may experience a deeper transformation. I actually agree. I'm going to be real. I don't think this would have came about for me right now had we have not made a decision several months back to honestly the stage of my life in which I was, relying on outside substances. And I had been a person that was dealing with anxiety and, depression and all kinds of social wounds for years. And I've noticed that, in the time since, that has been a thing that has been fading out and ultimately left my life. It really left me very raw and very open. And it really caused me to take a very, very deep look at kind of, why I would choose to cover and bear certain feelings. And I don't say that because that's what everyone does with these things. But I've noticed for a lot of us within, what we call this multidimensional kind of group, we come in here with such intense sensitivities, with such intense wounds, with such intense catalysts from other lives and other versions of ourselves that, sometimes the best thing we can do is medicate ourselves on this earth plane simply to block this, the absolute agonizing effects at times of being a human. And so I think it's only natural to seek that in this life. But I don't know, for us right now, it doesn't really seem to be a factor. And so anyway, that said, I don't see any other questions. We're going to give it a few moments here, and then we're going to go ahead and do a crown chakra attunement. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for showing up. If you know anyone else that may benefit from this program, please send them this video. You can share it on social media. Everybody knows we're in a little bit of a algorithm cap here, but we're breaking out of it little by little. Okay, I think we are ready. I don't see any other questions. For those of you guys that want to engage in this crown chakra opening process with me, first off, hopefully you can put feet on the floor. And if you're driving, if you're walking around, if you're doing something, don't worry about it. But if you're in a space right now where you can put your feet on the floor, it'll probably help. And so if you can, let's put our feet on the floor. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes with me. Some of you guys are going to keep your eyes open, and that's great as well. Just allow yourself to go inward for a few moments as you just make a firm agreement within your heart and your mind to listen to the sound of my voice as we as a group, over these digital airwaves, each of us in our own realm, in our own little world, on our own little timeline. We just enter into silence, into a space of deliberate connection, creation, and opening of the auric field. And so let's just breathe for a few moments. It's a very particular type of breathing. Those of you that have been in our groups and our classes will know it's very much like you're inflating your body like a balloon, puffing up your belly, pushing it out, making it big and round, a little bit exaggerated, but also soft, and then breathing it out, completely releasing all of the breath and energy that is within your lungs to such an extent that it almost gives you just a little bit of urgency breathing. You're fully opening and fully closing. In fact, even giving yourself direct authorization, even if you don't know how, even if you don't know what it means, you're giving yourself direct authorization to receive your own energy. Your own energy. And so I'm going to count 3 to 1, and everybody here, we're all going to take a deep breath in together, one body, one unit, one group. We're going to hold that breath right up in your head. Yes, you'll use your imagination. Just imagine that you're holding that breath up at the top of your head. And when we breathe out, you're going to breathe it out of the top of your head. And so before we do that, for those of you guys, especially with your eyes closed, I'd like you to just take a quick moment, and you can just kind of imagine yourself maybe standing in front of a mirror. Maybe it's the mirror at home or wherever you are right now, and you're standing in front of that mirror, just kind of looking at yourself. And as you're doing that, you're noticing what you're wearing today, and you're noticing where you are. You're noticing what your hair looks like, and your face, and your mind's eye. And as you're breathing in, looking at yourself in that mirror, you're just looking at the top of your head. And you're asking yourself, what would it look like if I was breathing out of the crown of my head? Maybe your hair would move a little bit. What a strange idea. And likewise, as that next breath rolls through your body, you're asking yourself, what would it sound like if I was breathing out of the top of my head? What kind of a sound would that make? What kind of a sensation would that make? What would it feel like if you were breathing out of the top of your head? Imagine that sensation of breath and energy effortlessly moving from the top of your head. And as I count from 3 to 1, let's breathe in together. One unit, one body. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Hold it. And release it out of the top of your head. Just use your imagination as you breathe out. Notice how your body might sway or gently rock back and forth, whatever direction. Very, very good. And so let's go to step 2. We're going to breathe into the top of your head one more time. And as we breathe out, we're going to imagine your eyes are dilating. You know what it looks like when the iris of your eyes grows large and lets in more light. to start dilating the top of your head. And so let's breathe in one more time into the very crown of your head. In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Hold it at the top. And breathe it out of the top of your head. Good job. Good job. Let it go all the way down, all the way out. We'll do that one more time. We're going to breathe into the top of the head, and then we're going to breathe out. And as a result of this moment here today, you will be in closer connection to the hierarchy of spirit, the aspects of self, the many guides and guardians, the voices and the transmissions, the inner dialogue that is available to all. And so let's breathe in one more time, and then we're going to do a mantra. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, breathe in. Hold it at the top. And breathe it out of the top of your head. Allow yourself to sit in silence for a few moments. Honor what arises. And for those of you able and willing to receive, simply allow this vibration. Om Shrim Savashwaraya Namaha. Om Shrim Param Jyotishe Namaha. Om Shrim Brahm Premaya Namaha. Om Shrim Brahm Karunyaya Namaha. Om Shrim Brahm Bhavitaya Namaha. Ogam Satyam. Ogam Satyam. Ogam Satyam. Good job, everybody. Allow the breath and energy to move from the top of your head. Just notice what you notice through the rest of your day as you go about your business. And what arises within the self, and understand that we are at a very, very key and important time in your journey on earth. I want to thank everybody for hanging out here. I think we've made it in the appropriate time. I look forward to those of you guys that we'll be doing screening appointments with in the coming weeks. And I am deeply honored to connect with a group of 6 individuals that are about to be going through one of the most unique and powerful and intensive energetic activation and transformation processes that you've been through in this life. The good news is, yes, I'll be doing it with you. So all of us are going to come out on the other side in an entirely new form. In the meantime, you can find me at rememberyourmission.com for private sessions. For group work, you can find us on patreon.com. And we're going to be doing our monthly meeting of Patreon this Saturday. So you guys can find us over at Patreon, at Blue Flame Collective, at rememberyourmission.com, and right here on YouTube. Hit the like button before you go. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'm looking forward to beginning this process with you guys live from the multidimensional trailer park at the beginning of the Year of the Dragon in 2024 down here in physical bodies. Let's go. We got work to do. Boom.